Hi, it's Tatiana. As I say in the beginning of all my videos, I'm not a doctor, and these videos are part of my own coping strategy, as well as my hope truly is that whatever I'm talking about is going to validate what someone else might be going through if they are in an abusive relationship, so that they can start the process of ending that relationship and getting out. So today I wanted to talk about a game that narcissists play, which is Triangulation, which I think I even mentioned in a video before I had read and found a name for it. So I like that name, Triangulation, because it validates what I went through before I knew what the word was. So I have two examples of triangulation, and the first one is my ex-husband, who I was with for a total of 12 years. And triangulation is, it doesn't have to be that your partner is sleeping with someone. It's using themselves and two other people, yourself and whoever the other one is, to create that narcissistic supply. Either that, I should say for the most part, the triangulation system is to make you, as the abused person, to feel rejected. So it could be very clearly, so your partner is cheating on you and you are aware of that. The key to triangulation is that the abuse victim needs to be aware of it so that they're suffering and in pain, and the narcissist can get their jollies from that scenario. So if you watch the videos about my ex-husband and my relationship, it's called the Covert Narcissist, because he wasn't outright, it wasn't obvious to everyone else what he was doing to me. And we were also within a church community. We were very conservative, and so anyway, basically what had happened was, throughout the relationship, he would use ex-girlfriends to create scenarios that were inappropriate and did disturb me. But because he wasn't sleeping with them, it put me in a religious quandary, right? It was, they're my friend, they have needs, and this is the right Christian way to be, is to help them. So one example was his ex-girlfriend. She's got several kids from different relationships, and she's moving back into town because she just got out of an abusive relationship. And he called me. This is before we had gotten married. We were together for 6 years before we got married. And he said, she's going to move into my place. I've got a spare bedroom, just till she can get on her feet. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. We can't go to church, and, she's staying with you. And I mean, sure, of course, the whole scenario is ridiculously uncomfortable for me. Plus just the embarrassing situation of, her being there. It was just not appropriate. So there's the mind fuck, right? Is that as a good Christian person, I need to welcome her presence in our lives. So I offered for her to stay in my home, and she did. Actually, I had a one-bedroom apartment, and she moved into my apartment, and I lived downstairs. And so of this big house, and so I rented the spare bedroom of my landlord upstairs. So I went. So that lasted a month, and that's just one example. She was there for a month and then scooted her ass along. Over time, there would be dates that we were supposed to go on, and he would tell me, oh, so-and-so called, and this woman can't make it, she needs someone to talk to, right? She needs someone to talk to. She needs someone to talk to. Never mind that we have a date, but we need to do the right thing and be supportive. So he's going to cancel a date with me, so I feel rejected, and there's nothing I can say because he's being a good Christian. So that happened many times. It wasn't until after we got divorced, or just before we got divorced, that I found all the cards and letters from her. And this was what I learned through that process, that through the process of going through the cards and such, is that in that scenario of triangulation, there's the abuser, there's the abused, and then there's the third party who is ready, willing, and able to participate in this game. And so throughout our relationship, all of these women, all of them, to me, had the same character trait, that they needed money, and they went along with keeping it a secret. They knew I wasn't supposed to know, and they participated in that. And that is key to me, that if even if they're not cheating, meaning sticking their dick in the wrong pussy, okay, if they are not doing that, it does not mean that that triangulation doesn't hurt. There is an abuser, and there is a person participating and willing to keep that secret from you. So all those text messages, let's say that your guy, even let's say that you're the guy and you've got a girl and she's got her best friend who is a man, and she is hiding text messages from you. If she's hiding something from you, you're being triangulated. Do not allow anyone in your life to be keeping secrets from you. If you are partners with someone, you share trust. So if that person is not trusting you, or they feel that that relationship is separate and in and unto itself from the partnership that you have, then you don't have a partnership and you need to move on. I hope that makes sense, because I learned that the hard way. So the other one that my ex-husband had done with triangulation was another ex-girlfriend of his. She had gone through, I don't know, 2 or 3 marriages while we were together, and eventually that relationship was the final trigger for me to cancel the relationship. So I also wanted to say this: once you start to address triangulation in your life, in my experience, that is going to be the end of the relationship. It's such a effective way to reject you over the long term, and because that other person is so participatory, it's actually low effort. I think it's low effort for the abuser. They have a willing participant. So so once you stop participating in the triangle, there's really no value to it. So and they will move on. So the other one, another one of the girls that my ex-husband had used, like I said, was an ex-girlfriend, and for whatever variety of reasons, she needed to talk to him about whatever misery was going on in her relationships. And again, the key is that this was a secret. So again, so after we were married, and I found out about another woman that he had been with, but so in researching what had been happening behind my back, I came across this way back when we had phone records. So I went through the phone records and was actually able to see that the month or 2 I had gone to, we had a destination wedding. So I had flown over to where we were getting married and had spent 2, maybe almost 3 months with family and getting ready for the wedding. Months after we got married, going through those phone records, I was able to see that he had literally, I keep a detailed calendar, so I could see that he had taken me up to the airport to fly over there, and while I was there, he was on the phone with her. I should be even clearer. He dropped me off at the airport, and to the minute that it would have taken him to get back to the house, he was on the phone with her. And he was on the phone with her every single night, the entire time I was gone. Every single night. And we barely talked while I was gone. Hardly ever, because he was busy, because he had to work, blah, blah, blah. He had come up with some excuse to me. He went to this religious, what would you call it? Maybe kind of like a revival type of meeting. And he went and made an excuse that he was seeing a friend of ours. And then I found out through those records that no, he went and spent that weekend with her at a church meeting. Okay, so anyway, there's the key, right? They're supposed to be friends. Why is this a secret from me, right? But he is holding on to that. He knows what he's doing is wrong, and it's exciting to him. She knows what she's doing is wrong, and it's exciting to her. So this particular girl, and I should say even my ex-husband, used that triangulation process as a smear campaign because his parents knew her. He would convey to his parents that I was unchristian-like because I did not welcome her into our home, and that I was keeping him from spending time with her. So therefore his family, and she, like I said, as a willing participant, used the family to see my husband, this is my husband, with my in-laws, my brother-in-law, and they are ignorant. They don't know that he's doing this to me, right? As far as they know, I'm just a bitch, and somehow, you know, really ruining his life and keeping him from his long-term, lifelong friends. Okay, so that all came to a head when we moved to the town that she lived in, and it came down to me. It literally, word for word, came down to the point where there was an argument. He wanted to not even to go to her church, but to go to some church functions, and was really upset at me that he couldn't go to these church functions. And I'm thinking, this is not even our church. You know, what's the draw here, right? Like I said, I'm ignorant to what triangulation is. But I'm hurt. I'm hurt. Why is this such a big deal? I mean, we're married. This is our life and our future. And some reason you need to have this friend who lives in a, you know, nearby town is causing so much strife in the relationship. I mean, just let it go. Seriously. If, you know, I have no problem. And even my best friend, I have been in a relationship where even my best friend, I say because my best friend is a guy, and he has offered and said, I will back off because this is an ex-boyfriend. That's a respectful attitude. You're a guy, I'm with another guy. We're not going to have our friendship the way that it was because I'm in a committed relationship, and that is a respectful way to be. There was no triangulation. In the marriage, that was triangulation. That the level of stress for a friend is out of control. So it doesn't even have to be of the opposite sex. It's when someone is truly disturbing you and that other abuser is perpetuating the situation. So anyway, it came down literally, like I said, word for word, where I said, look, you need to choose her or choose me. And he did this. And that's it. You know what I mean? That's it. There's just no arguing with that. I'm sorry, you know, you married me, and if you really have to think about it for half a second, it's not okay. So that was a heck of a lot of drama to get to that point. But sure enough, and she was married, was married, I don't know. She has a husband herself, okay? So it was unreal, the level of pain I went through for people who weren't even getting sex out of it. And that's kind of an important thing to realize. A narcissist doesn't need to have the excitement of sex. They thrive off of your pain. So once I drew the line on that, like I say in the Covert video, we had the best divorce ever. It was just like, I'm not participating and it's done. And it was like, wow, my use was just done and over with. He wasn't getting the reaction that he wanted anymore. And he did torture me for a very long time, especially because I was completely unaware that triangulation is a tactic. All I did was hurt and not understand why he was doing that to me, and went through all the ridiculous drama of praying my brains out, you know, that I was a bad Christian and that God disapproved me of not being trusting and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, like I said, confronting that triangulation even way before I knew what it was the end of the relationship. The second example that I have of triangulation is with an ex-boyfriend, and actually I should say with his daughter, who I believe is a narcissist. She triangulated with her mother, and so I know that a lot of people put up with this game way longer than they should. I've seen plenty of guys who have to deal with, you know, his girlfriend has, you know, what would you call a baby daddy, and she tries to put you into that scenario, right? Whatever it is, if he's going to come and pick up the kids, she wants you to be there. She wants you to be there not because you're protecting her, but she wants you to be there because she wants her guy to feel bad and rejected that she's moved on and has another guy. To me, that's entirely inappropriate. If dad is coming to pick up the kids, he's just picking up the kids, right? There's no reason for you to be standing there and to make sure that he knows that she's moved on. You can be there. You can be behind her where he doesn't see you. Something that says, you know, the baby daddy is not your problem. He is not, you know, it's just not your problem to deal with. You can certainly be supportive of her, whatever it is that she's going through, but if she's sitting there berating her ex to you or berating her ex to her children, she's trying to triangulate everybody. She's not over it. If she keeps bringing it up, she's not over it. Okay? Or she's enjoying the drama that she continues to perpetuate and create. If you want the drama out of your life, you need to just shut up about it. There are plenty of people in my life that I have truly deeply disliked, and the best thing to do is just shut your trap. Just don't talk about it. You know, be polite and move on. So in this particular scenario, and I'm not even sure how it had started. It was, and I talk about this scenario in the restraining order video, that the daughter, who I was unaware of until this argument had reared its ugly head, because I had no communication at all with her mother. Not my problem. I'm not the girl's mother. I'm not trying to be her mother. You know, it's none of my business. Her relationship with her mother is none of my business. So I didn't know any of this stuff was going on. And later on, you know, I had to reevaluate and wonder, is it the mother who was trying to triangulate and you know, cause the daughter, you know, please feed me negative information about this woman in your dad's life? Or was it the daughter trying to earn her approval by saying negative things about me? I don't know. But up until that point, the girl, the daughter I was oblivious. I just completely, because I wasn't, I guess because it just wasn't my business. My relationship to her had nothing to do with her relationship to her mother, so it never occurred to me to care until the phone conversation that had happened. I had asked the daughter to apologize to her father for something that she was doing. It was the only time I had ever asked her to do something like that, and instead of her apologizing, all of a sudden mom called, and this is what I talk about in the restraining order video, that she angered herself to the point of threatening to kill me. And the reason that she angered herself to the point of threatening to kill me was I would not participate in the triangulation. When she called, she's furious, and I'm thinking, you know, I don't know what your daughter said, but you know, in my mind I was thinking, honey, you have no idea what's going on here. And me, in my naivete, thought, she's a mom, she cares, and I need to just explain, this is what's going on, and this is, you know, and your daughter is hurting her dad's feelings, and, you know, can you talk to her? Like an idiot, I thought that that's what was going to happen. And so I tried 2 or 3 times to say, okay, calm down, you know, let's talk about what's going on. And she just was hysterical screaming. And so finally, and she was like out of breath screaming. And I thought, she's not even hearing anything that I'm saying. So finally I just calmed down and waited for her to kind of run out of energy. And instead of running out of energy, because I wasn't participating in the triangulation, then she began to insult me. And you know, really, truly, if you've watched any other the other videos, you know, I've dealt with so much insults to my face from people I actually cared about, that when people try to insult me, it's like, I guess that's just what comes to my mind, is like, honey, you ain't got nothing. Man, I have been hurt beyond how anybody else can ever hurt me. So it's kind of funny. And so I just I listened to the first 2 or 3 insults, and I just kind of was like, oh. And so I said that. I said, hun, you're going to have to work much harder than that to hurt my feelings. And so she tried again and tried a couple more insults. And then she, you know, at the time I was a homemaker, and, you know, and I guess her biggest insult to me that she was trying to say was that she, what did she try to say? And you're the maid, I think is what she said. And so I was like, gosh, I wish I had a really good comeback for that. And I was just like, well, I was like, yeah, I'm good at it. And then so she starts yelling, you know, that, yeah, that's what my daughter said. You're really good at it. And I just, you know, it just got so ridiculous to me, because here, she was so angry trying to hurt me, and her daughter had sent that, you know, her daughter had set up this scenario so that her mother was insulting me. And it's like, everything you say is just not going to hurt me, and you're so not paying attention, you're so angry and trying to create this drama, that when I tell you I'm good at it, she couldn't help it, but she was trying to insult me, but instead of insulting me, she was actually repeating back to me the truth in an insulting tone, saying, I know, you're really good at it. You know, like, you're a really good cook, you're very good at keeping house. It's like, oh, okay, you know, that is relief in a scenario for triangulation, is just truly deeply not participating. And there it was. That was the end of it. Once that didn't work, she just really lost her cool, and I just don't even want to repeat what she said, because it's just mortifying. I felt so bad for her self-esteem, what she said after that, that I just, out of respect for humanity, I'm not going to say what it is, because it still makes me feel sad inside that's what she blurted out. But after that last one didn't work, you know, she had threatened to kill me, and I said, okay, well, you know, I'll get the restraining order tomorrow. And then I hung up after, when she was saying that last truly just heinous insult. It was just so derogatory to herself, is what I'm trying to say. It was just so derogatory about herself and where her self-esteem was. And so and then I hung up, and I just texted her daughter back, you know. I mean, the last thing I had said to her daughter was, you know, please apologize to your dad, you know, you're hurting his feelings. And then the next text message I sent was, cute game, baby girl. Let your mom know I'm getting a restraining order in the morning. And I never talked to her daughter again. I never even spoke to her, and I still lived with her for a few more months before that relationship ended. I never spoke to her again, because I'm not going to participate in drama. And what she did was so selfish, hurtful. Oh, and that's what I was going to say, is by the insults that her mother had tried to spew at me, I realized, well, how would she even know those things to try to turn them into an insult? But how would she even know those things unless her daughter all this time has been telling her mother all these things? And so that phone conversation was very eye-opening, and I realized the depth of what had been going on behind the scenes. And so there was no participation in that triangulation ever again. The daughter and I never communicated again. The mother never, like I talk about in the restraining order video, she never spoke about, she did send one email to my boyfriend, which I printed out and put in the file and included with my restraining order, but she never contacted, as far as I know, she never said anything more to the daughter or to the boyfriend at the time. It was over and done, and the relationship between me and the boyfriend quickly ended as well, because, you know, I'm just not going to put up with that stuff again before I knew what triangulation was. using someone else to hurt you. So, so both of those examples that I'm giving to you about triangulation and how to deal with them and get out of the relationship is to simply not participate. So I know that a lot of you who are dealing with that particular game that narcissists play, it is extremely painful. And the key to pulling out of it is to just decide what you're okay with. You might be in a relationship with someone, and like I said, the baby mama or the baby daddy is trying to triangulate you. You don't have to participate in anything in life that you don't want to participate in. You find where your peace is, and you just choose to stay there. Like I said, the daughter came back from this trip that she was on where I had texted her, and I believe we lived together for maybe 2 or 3 more months. In fact, and then she moved out because I just wouldn't participate. And she, I believe, that she was saying, oh, it was just too uncomfortable to live together. Well, just say you're sorry. That's all she ever had to do, is say, I'm sorry I did that. I'm sorry I lied behind your back. I'm sorry that I, instead of apologizing to my father, I had my mother attack you. I don't even think I needed that detail. I just needed her to say, I'm sorry. And she never did. And as long as she wasn't going to say, I'm sorry, there's nothing else for us to communicate about at all. At all. I don't know how to put it any clearer than that. You do not have to participate at all in any drama. You don't have to open your mouth. You don't even have to say the word no. I know a lot of us who have been in abusive relationships have trouble saying no. You don't even have to say no. Just be no. I'm not going to stand there. I'm not going to listen. I'm going to get up and walk out of the room. When someone else is talking about them, I'm going to go do something else. When someone asks me my opinion about it, I'm not going to talk about it. It's not my business. It's not my business. So I hope that this is helpful to you. I know that you probably have a lot of experiences, even just the things that I see that people talk about. I feel like I want to address them all, but truly, in your heart, if you're being in a scenario that's triangulation, it can be between anyone, a boss and you, anyone, any scenario where you feel like you're put in between and it's hurting you, and that other person, that abuser, is getting the benefit of your misery. Just stop participating is my encouragement for you. Okay, I hope this is really helpful for someone out there. As I always end my videos, I wanted to remind you of what the phone number for the National Domestic Abuse. Wait, let me make sure I say it correctly, because I get flustered when I'm talking too quick. Okay, National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-SAFE, which is 1-800-799-7233. Give them a call, and if you're wondering if your scenario, if you're wondering if what's going on in your life is triangulation, go ahead and give them a call. And remember, it's anonymous, and you can say, look, this is making me feel really uncomfortable, and I feel like it's an abusive tactic. What do you think? And how can I break free of this scenario and start weeding your way out of the drama into a nice clearing where you are just respecting yourself and living the life that you were made to live. Okay, I'm wishing you much love.